Students, this is class 11, subject chemistry, chapter 3, classification of elements and periodicity in properties. Lecture number 1. So topics of today's lecture are Dobryner's law of triads, Newland's law of octaves, Manley's periodic law, and IUPAC nomenclature of elements with atomic number greater than 100. So in earlier times, only few elements were known to the scientist. Only 31 elements were known in 1800. But now, at present, 118 elements are known. Now, with such a large number of elements, it is very difficult to study property of each and every element. So there was need of systematic arrangement of these elements. So here a question comes that who discovered the periodic table? When we ask this question, then you will almost certainly get the answer Mendeleev. Certainly, Mendeleev was the first to publish a version of the table that we would recognize today. But does he deserve all the credit? You see, a number of other chemists are also before Mendeleev which were investigating patterns in the properties of the element that were known at the time. So the earliest attempt to classify the elements was in 1789. When Antony Lavoisier grouped the elements based on their properties into gases, nonmetals, and metals. Several other attempts were made to group elements together over the coming decades. So here we will study about those. So first is law of triads. So Dobryner in 1829 recognized triads of elements with chemically similar properties such as lithium, sodium, and potassium, and showed that properties of the middle elements could be predicted from the properties of the other two. So this is the table. So here you can see that these three elements are grouped together. And if we take arithmetic mean of atomic mass of lithium and potassium, then it will comes equal to atomic mass of sodium. Okay, 7 plus 39 divided by 2, and it is equal to 23. Okay, it may or may not be equal to the atomic mass or nearly equal to. Like here in this case, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Okay, so if we take arithmetic mean of atomic mass of chlorine and iodine, then 35.5 plus 126.5 divided by 2. It is equal to 81. That means it is near to the atomic mass of bromine. So it may be equal to atomic mass of the middle element, or it can be near to the atomic mass of the middle element. Now in next, try calcium, strontium, and barium. So in this, 40 plus 137 divided by 2, and it is equal to 88. Okay, it is near to the atomic mass of strontium. Now he called these groups as Dobryner triads. He showed that he called these groups of elements as Dobryner triads. He showed that when three elements of a triad were arranged in order of increasing atomic weights, the atomic weight of the middle element was either nearly the same, or the atomic weight of the middle element was approximately the arithmetic mean of the other two. I have already explained this to you. Now next attempt was made by Newland, and it is known as Newland's law of octaves. So when lighter elements were arranged in order of their increasing atomic weights, the properties of every eighth element was similar to those of the first, like the eighth note of a musical scale. You can easily understand from this table. Here you can see that lithium is present here, okay, and it is first element. So if you will consider lithium as first element, then every eighth element like second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, that means sodium. So property of every eighth element is similar to the first one. That means property of lithium is similar to the property of sodium. In the same way, if you will consider sodium as first element, then every eighth element, okay, so sodium is first element, so second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth. So that means property of potassium is similar to the property of sodium. Okay, so in this manner you can say that property of each and every element is similar to the every eighth element. Okay, so lithium resembles to sodium and potassium. In the same way, beryllium resembles to the magnesium and calcium. Boron resemble aluminium. Carbon resemble silicon and so on. Okay. So next attempt was made by Lothar and this is known as Lothar arrangement. In 1869, Lothar, a German chemist, studied the physical properties of the element. Physical properties like atomic volume, melting point and boiling point of all the elements. He plotted a graph between atomic volume and atomic weight of the elements. So from this graph, he observed that the element with the similar properties occupied similar position on the curve. So here you will see that lithium is present here, sodium is present here, potassium is present here, rubidium is present here, and cesium is present here. That means on the peak of the curve. So they occupy similar position. So they have similar properties also. In the same way, if you will observe fluorine is present here, chlorine is present here, bromine is present here, and iodine is present here. All these elements occupies similar position. Okay, so they have similar properties. This graph is known as Lothar-Meyer's atomic volume curve. Now next is Mendeleev's periodic table. So Dmitry Mendeleev was a Russian chemist and inventor. So at that time only 63 elements were known. So he arranged all the elements in increasing order of atomic weight in such a way that elements with similar properties are placed in the same group. Okay, here the horizontal rows are called period. Okay, these are the periods, these are the horizontal rows, and the vertical columns, okay, they are known as groups. So here you can see that there are 8 groups, okay, and each group is divided into two parts, A and B, except group number 8. Okay, so you will say it as 1A, 1B. Okay, in the same way, this is 2A and 2B, 3A, 3B, 4th A, B, 5A, B, and so on. Okay, these are the periods. There are 6 periods. Okay, so the elements which are present in the group, they have similar properties. Okay, and in period, the elements are arranged in increasing order of atomic mass. In any period, the properties of elements show regular gradation. That means metallic character decreases. Okay, when you will go from left to right, metallic character will decrease. Okay, while non-metallic character increases. He also left some blank spaces for unknown elements and even predicted their properties in the light of the properties of other elements in the same group. Like for example, gallium and germanium were not known at that time. So Mendeleev named these elements as Eka aluminium and Eka silicon respectively. Okay, so you can see in the table that gallium, here it is. Okay, it was not known at that time, so he left the space. Okay, and this was known as Eka aluminium. In the same way, germanium was not known at that time, so he left the space, and this element was known as Eka silicon because germanium comes after silicon. So he predicted properties of these elements, germanium and gallium, before discovery of these elements. Now, with the passage of time, more elements were discovered. To accommodate these elements, the original periodic table was modified from time to time. Around the year 1951, a new group called zero group was added to the Mendeleev periodic table. So these were the earlier attempts which were made for the classification of the elements. After this, modern periodic table will come, which we will study in next lecture. Okay, now next topic is nomenclature of elements with atomic number greater than 100. Now the question is, what is the need of nomenclature of elements with atomic number greater than 100? You see, all the elements with atomic number greater than 100 have been identified, and some of these are known since long, while others have been discovered only recently by a team of scientists. Although names and symbols to many of these elements have been assigned, but these are still not universally accepted. There are some elements which have two names or symbol. For example, the atomic number 104. This element is named as Rutherfordium by Americans, but Soviet named it Kurchatovium, which is represented by Ku. So it creates confusion when an element has two names. So after having discussion with chemists around the world, the IUPAC in 1997 approved the official names for element with atomic number 104 to atomic number 110. So you can see here, for 0 we will name it nil and it is abbreviated as small n. For 1 we will name it un and it is abbreviated as small u. For 2 we will write bi and it is abbreviated as b. For 3 tri, 4 quad, 5 pent, 6 hex, 7 sept, 8 oct, 9 n. Okay. Now for example, if you have to write name of 101 element, okay, element whose atomic number is 101. So how you will write it? So for 1 we will write un, then there is 0, so you will write here nil, then there is 1, then you will write un, and in the end you will use ium, eum. Okay, so this is un nil unium. Now next is 102. So here for 1 you will write un, for 0 you will write nil, for 2 you will write bi. Okay, as you can see that for 2 when we write bi and in the end we use eum. Okay, so I is common, so you will write I only one time. So it is un nil bium. Now this is 103 un nil trium. Okay, un nil you will say trium, un nil trium. 104 un nil quadium, 105 un nil pentium, 106 un nil hexium, 107 un nil septium, 108 un nil octium, 109 un nil ennium, okay, and so on. So in this way you can do nomenclature of these elements. So that's all for today, students. Now your homework is that you have to do NCERT exercise question number 1 and 2. Question number 1. What is the basic theme of organization in the periodic table? Okay. Second, which important property did Mendeleev use to classify the elements in his periodic table and did he stick to that? So these are the questions which you have to solve. If you have any doubt or question, you can email me. Thank you and have a nice day.